The 2021 College Football Playoff Championship game took place on Monday night at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida. The number 1 seed Alabama Crimson Tide took on the 3rd seed Ohio State. Ohio State was the big underdog, but most thought it could be a good game and thinking the Buckeyes could keep up with the Crimson Tide until the end. However, that was just not the case. Alabama rolled past Ohio State 52-24. Devontae Smith and Najee Harris dominated the game. Ohio State tried to keep up with Bama in the first half, but it just wasn't good enough. Justin Fields struggled in the second half as it seemed like his ribs were still bothering him. Fields injured his ribs in a win versus Clemson on January 1st at the Orange Bowl. At one point, the game was tied at 14. Eventually, Alabama scored again, and Ohio State forced a turnover and ended up getting a field goal and trimmed the Tide's lead to 21-17. After that, it was all Bama. Devontae Smith was the offensive player of the game despite leaving early with a hand injury. Christian Barmore was the defensive player of the game. Mac Jones was 36 of 45 for 464 yards and 5 touchdowns. Najee Harris rushed for 79 yards and 22 carries and 2 TDs. Despite only playing 3.5 quarters, Devontae Smith had 215 yards receiving on 12 receptions and 3 touchdowns. For Ohio State, Justin Fields was 17 of 33 for 194 yards and 1 TD. He also led the team in rushing with 67 yards on the ground. Chris Olave had 8 receptions for 69 yards. Thanks for listening to the Sports Town Podcast, or the STP Pod for short. You can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and much more. We release new episodes every Wednesday and Friday. Also, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Sports Town Podcast. If you want to check out more videos of the Sports Town Podcast, click on the left. If you want to subscribe to the channel, click on the right.